If you're gonna ask me how I spent my time at Sandrock, well, I must say it's a time well spent in this life simulator mini sandbox game. And in fact, even at my regular pace, 60 plus hours of playtime was still barely enough to explore every nook and cranny of its expansive desert world and accomplish all the tasks and secret missions that were left undone. My Time at Sandrock is the direct successor of My Time at Portia, which was released in 2018. Most of its core features, such as the tedious grinding, social interactions, the RPG, and resource management facets, remain intact at Sandrock. But the most obvious upgrade in the sequel took place in the graphics department. As you can see, the character design is much smoother this time around, and the UIs look way more appealing than at Portia. Though both titles have the same gaming elements, the main storyline at Portia doesn't spill over to its sequel, even as some characters have made their comebacks. In Sandrock, you'll be replacing the outgoing Mason to be the newest builder in town, and your main goal is to help out the townsfolk with their requests and ultimately restore Sandrock to its former glory. For those who are not familiar with the My Time series, both titles essentially carry a Stardew Valley vibe while being presented in a 3D environment. Just like in Portia, Sandrock's core loop mainly revolves around tedious grinding, crafting, and resource management. Each requested item usually has a prerequisite resource, and on most occasions, that particular prerequisite resource also requires another subset of prerequisites just to get crafted. Now, to put it simply, everything starts from the gathering of raw materials, and this can be done by scavenging scraps, smashing rocks, killing creatures, and mining at abandoned ruins. Though some raw material items are purchasable at various shops located inside a town, you really need to grind it out in the early parts of the game since you don't have much money to begin with. Stamina also plays a crucial factor in gathering resources. Hacking enemies or quarrying stones require the use of energy, and so it's important to channel your efforts into doing projects with the highest priority. After obtaining the required raw materials, the next step is the crafting process. You need to build certain machines to serve as conduits for the final product. And these machines are not one size fits all, as they have specific crafting functions, like for example, the recycler only processes scraps and the furnace is only capable of smelting objects. And before I almost forget, you also need blueprints and provide data disk at the research center in order for you to build these crafting machines. Apart from the hustle and bustle of gathering resources, you also need to check the fuel level of your machines and make sure that there's always enough water in the tank to keep your crafting operations running. Since you're deeply situated in a barren desert, water supply is pretty scarce around Sandrock. You can buy barrels of water at Waterworld at an incrementing price. But if you don't have much money to work around, you can always harvest dews by acquiring hard rocks around the desert, and you can turn 10 dews into 1 gallon of water by crafting it at your work table. Not having enough money is one of the biggest challenges, especially in the early parts of the game, since you can't buy a specific item that you need in order to speed up your progress. However, the best solution to your money problems is by accepting commissions at the Commerce Guild. Commissions are time-bounded tasks that give out a handsome amount of gold upon completion. At first, you can only take 1 commission at a time, but after successfully completing a ton of it, you'll eventually gain some amount of points to boost your workshop rating, which then effectively allows you to score additional commission contracts. Aside from the crafting feature, you can also plant and harvest your own crops through farming. The produce that you have freshly made can be processed into food, which you can use to revitalize your health or regain lost stamina. Juggling between completing story missions and doing commissions are essentially the 2 things that you would do all the time. Now, aside from this, the game's socialization feature also helps you out in progressing quickly in the game. There are a lot of characters roaming around Sandrock, and you'll mostly get acquainted with them as you progress with the main story arc. Outside of the story missions, you can develop a relationship with each one of them by simply talking to them, giving them special gifts, and playing mini-games. Once you have achieved a certain relationship level, you can gain special privileges like accessing secret rooms, which allows you to score special rewards, and even to the extent of getting married to a character that you like. The game has a simple RPG facet to add some dynamic to its predominantly crafting and resource management nature. Stats can be increased by gaining experience through day-to-day activities or battling against monsters. Speaking of which, the combat system is pretty straightforward and employs a hack and slash movement with rolling actions to dodge enemy attacks. And lastly, there's an in-depth skill tree feature that runs through a point system, which enables you to gain significant advantages in gathering resources, item production, and social interactions. Though most of the stuff that I just mentioned was already present in the first installment, the game changer in My Time at Sandrock is that it introduces a multiplayer mode which is still currently in the works and will be released in the near future. With this newly added feature, I think the grinding process will be cut down in half since you can now ask your friend to split the task assignments. And it could also possibly open up a competitive aspect of the game, like organizing contests on who's gonna finish the commissions the fastest, or other fun stuff like opening up an arena mode where players can team up and battle other players using their latest inventions. My Time at Sandrock is a grindy game all throughout, but it does have that charming and optimistic aura that will make you hang on and keep you going when you're getting grumpy or frustrated in collecting resources while waiting for its downtime before it gets finally crafted. After finishing the water tower mission, I kind of feel wanting for more since I'm already invested with the story, and I can't wait for the surprising twist that they're gonna do about Logan and his gang. With this in mind, there's definitely more fun stuff that will be coming in, but at the moment, I think now is the perfect time to finish all my pending commissions and hoard a plethora of resources so I would not be having hard time grinding when the next game update has been finally launched. That's it for now guys in this in-depth review for Eep's Hideout. Once again, my name is Pao, see you around.